Richard Rodgers with a walk-off touchdown. Total disbelief at Ford Field.
He may go all the way to the 20 down the right side, and there's Randall Cobb to the 5, to the end zone, to the touchdown. Oh my goodness.
Welcome, everyone, to the Green and Golden Boys Packers podcast, the podcast for Packer fans who have mixed emotions about our favorite quarterback. I am your co-host, Charles. As with me, as always, is Marcus. Marcus, how you doing?
Doing okay, Charles. Been better. How about yourself?
Oh, I still hear that pain in your voice. It's been a couple of weeks since the very disappointing loss, upset loss to the San Francisco 49ers. We were both very confident about that game, but, you know, we wanted to touch base before the Super Bowl so we can, you know, quickly talk on our overall feelings about that game and about that big loss. Aaron Rodgers, you know, just won his 4th MVP. I wanted to touch on that. And then, you know, as everyone knows, it's a very uncertain offseason this year, and obviously Aaron Rodgers is at the center of that. So just quick thoughts on where we think he is, and of course we got to get our predictions for the Super Bowl this weekend. But quickly, Marcus, you know, you and I watched the game together. You and I asked the crowd to let us know whether or not we should watch the game together, knowing our record watching the game together. And, you know, we didn't get as much feedback as maybe I would have liked. So let's put it on the listeners. I think that's on them. Do you agree?
Yeah, for sure. It's absolutely their fault that we watched the game together and the Packers lost. Obviously it's disappointing. You know, I feel like most of the time when we watch games together, it's bigger games. So there's some, you're playing tougher teams, and the ability to win those games is a little bit less than, you know, just a random game against the Lions, let's say, in the regular season.
We did watch a game against the Lions where we lost.
Okay, I'll give you that one. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, I think we're both a little bit superstitious, and maybe we'll never watch a game together again, which would you know, be disappointing. But if it's the best thing for the team, then hey, it's a sacrifice I think we're both willing to make.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, this was a game I told you this story already, but I think 2 or 3 days after the game was over, I went back to watch the highlights, and I couldn't bring myself to finish the video. This one hurt a lot for a lot of different reasons. I think, obviously, Aaron Rodgers just won his 4th NFL MVP, and I think we expected his play to carry over into the offseason, or into the postseason, rather. It didn't. He didn't play well. Had he played a little bit marginally better, the Packers would have won this game. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit more disappointing this year because we don't know what he's going to do. I mean, the Packers are almost $50 million over the cap. They're going to have to do a lot of restructuring and pushing money down the line if they want to bring back the core group that we had this year. It's disappointing because this is the best defense we've had in a long time. They really played well in this game, and then, you know, obviously special teams is what it is, but the offense really crapped the bed. It's disappointing.
The offense really crapped the bed. I mean, I think I was nervous right after that game that everyone was going to blame special teams, and obviously there were 10 points basically scored against that special teams unit. But really, it does fall on the shoulders of the offense, and Aaron Rodgers is the leader of the offense. And it was, you know, to your point, it was a special team, and I don't know if there's a path to get that team to that same caliber again, even if we do go all in again. Aaron Rodgers comes back. We get, you know, we figure out a way to move some money around. Devontae, maybe we tag him. I don't know. We got to lose some players, and it's where do we go from here? Right. Compared to other NFC losses, it wasn't, you know, obviously it was disappointing, but it wasn't as like gut wrenching as like the onside kick against the Seahawks, right? It wasn't a blowout like it was against the Falcons a couple years ago. You know,
I mean,
we don't.
I would argue that makes it even a little bit worse. I'm not sure. I mean, I know you know I watched the game together, and you know that we were tied with 10 seconds left in the game, and Robbie Gould is coming on to kick a field goal. I had confidence the entire game, like, okay, yeah, we've played really badly. We're in a position to win this game. He could miss it. They keep every time. It seems like every time an announcer says like, oh, Robbie Gould is he's 100% in the playoffs and da 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 da, or from this range or whatever. That seems like you're tempting fate a little bit. I was like, okay, well, he could miss this, and we could easily win this in overtime.
Well, I agree with you. I felt pretty confident that whole game, but what I was going to say is this was the first game where it just felt like the Packers disappointed me, right? Like it felt embarrassing. It felt like they didn't do their job. These other games were like either we were blown out or, oh my God, it was an onside kick. How the heck did that happen? Or we weren't expected to win, or heck, Tom Brady did the Tom Brady thing. This was the first time where I'm just like, damn, like the Packers just gave that away and there was no reason for it. And honestly, embarrassment is I hate to use the word, but it's almost the word I want to use. I mean, from special teams, I mean, how do we have that conversation all year and there's not a change made, even if it's a symbolic coaching move, right? It's just the writing was on the wall with that unit, and sure enough, everyone predicted it. If the Packers lose, that's going to be a special teams blunder, and they're partially to blame there. And then Aaron Rodgers turned into Superman mode and tried to win the game by himself. You and I have talked many times about the open receivers that he missed in that game that would have moved the chains, and it just felt like a deflating, embarrassing letdown.
I mean, it absolutely was. And, to let's talk about the receivers he missed. I mean, obviously that play, the last play on offense where he tried to hit Devontae in double coverage and missed a wide open Lazard that would have been a first down. He hits that first down, we probably win that game. You know what I mean? If he hits Aaron Jones in stride at the end of the first half and Aaron Jones doesn't cut back, we probably win this game. If Mercedes Lewis doesn't fumble that football, we probably win this game. But anyway, my point is,
man, we were rolling,
and we were
rolling before that fumble.
Yep. So at that point, he was spreading the ball around. But then, to your point, he gets into Rodgers Superman mode where he's like, I got to win this on my own. But since Davante Adams has been Davante Adams, the Packers, I believe, are undefeated when he's not playing in the game. We've noticed this for the last 3 or 4 years. When Davante's out, Aaron Rodgers does a lot better job spreading the ball out. He takes his checkdowns, you know what I mean? Play action, stuff like that. Is this team better off if first of all, does Aaron Rodgers come back if we decide to trade Davante Adams? 2, is this team better off in that scenario if Rodgers is back and Davante is gone? Because the Rodgers now has no choice but to hopefully spread the ball around, or does he just say, okay, well now, Randall Cobb or Alan Lazard, I'm just going to go to you every play. You know what I mean?
Right. Or what other names are out there that we bring in if Davante's gone? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a back to the start of the episode, the mixed emotions of our favorite quarterback. I mean, here we are just kind of bummed out about his play, and then he just won his 4th MVP, and congrats to him, by the way. A couple stats on that. I mean, he's securely in 2nd place. This is 4th time. Only Peyton Manning has more. The Packers, by the way, have the most MVPs as a team compared to any other football team out there. It helps that you have Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and Bart Starr, but still they have 10. Colts following up with 9. So I mean, what do we do? Right? This whole narrative the last year and a half has been, does Aaron Rodgers want to come back? And I'd like to get your take on this, because after that game, I got a sense, or I had this feeling in me, and it sounds weird now that we're talking about a back-to-back MVP. I got the sense of, do we want him back? I mean, that sounds silly to say. Obviously, we want a back-to-back MVP as your quarterback. But I mean, if we truly just thought we went all in, and that was all of our chips in the center of the table, do we just reload? I mean, his trade value just skyrocketed after last night's MVP award. I mean, this whole conversation has always been about Aaron. Maybe it's about the front office. Do they want to? They've been publicly saying, no, we want him back. But I mean, put yourself in their position. They could reload, tag tag Devontae, get a trade for him, maybe get rid of Bakhtiari. I mean, we could literally set this thing up for 2-3 years, 2 or 3 years down the road from now. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the $1 million question. That's the huge decision that this front office and Aaron Rodgers has to make. I mean, I guess it comes from a fan's perspective. It comes down to this. I mean, do you want to be competitive, for the next couple of years while we still have Aaron Rodgers, or do we want to sacrifice 2, 3, 5 seasons and of mediocrity and then start to become relevant after that? I mean, I think there's arguments on both sides. I mean, we've seen we saw what Peyton Manning did in Denver. He was past his prime. He wasn't playing that well. But he still helped that team go to a Super Bowl, in large part because they had a great defense and good coaching. We saw Nick Foles do it with the Eagles several years ago, where he came in as a backup at the end of the season and led that team to a Super Bowl victory. Not because he was playing, extremely well, but because they were well coached and a strong team in general. I think if we can keep this defense intact and keep Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, we've got a strong core on offense. We've got a great offensive line. I think if Jordan Love can just be a mediocre to solid game manager for the next couple of years, I mean, we have an opportunity. Maybe not in the next year or 2 or 3, but we've seen this in the last decade that you don't need to have an MVP quarterback to win a Super Bowl. It certainly helps, but
Yeah. I think you need an MVP quarterback, or you need a quarterback on a rookie deal. So I think our window with Love is oddly already shrinking a little bit. I almost wonder if this wouldn't be a conversation if they knew Love was the next Mahomes, right? We would be moving on from Aaron, and there'd be no discussion about it. I don't know if they know they have that, right? So do we want that? Do we want to be the Vikings? Do we want to be a 500 team for the next 5 years? Or do you want to say, you know what? We only are going to win if we find that next quarterback. Because again, look at who's in the Super Bowl right now. I mean, Stafford, I guess, it hasn't been there very often, but we can all agree he's a fantastic quarterback. And Joe Burrow, first overall pick, 2-3 years ago? Is the first question for this front office is Jordan Love the guy? And if he is, awesome, move on and let's get some weapons around him with Aaron Rodgers, picks, or let's keep Aaron, restructure that deal, and honestly move on from Love. Get a 3rd round pick from him. I mean, if he's decent at a game manager, Denver would love to have him, right? Not the Cardinals, the Panthers would love to have him. It's just odd because they're two opposite directions that I can see us going in, and I honestly don't know which direction we would go.
Yeah, no one has a crystal ball. Obviously, this is going to be an interesting offseason. I think Rodgers said he's going to make a decision before free agency begins in March, so we'll see. We may only have to hold our breath for the next 6 weeks or so, but...
Did you watch his MVP award last night?
I watched his speech, yeah.
What did it... I honestly, that was the first time I ever tuned in to the NFL awards or honors, whatever they call it. I just find out on online minutes or a day later. I tuned in because I wanted to see what he had to say. And maybe he sounded like that in years past, but did that feel like a sentimental goodbye in his speech? I mean, he gushed over Matt LaFleur, but it was very reminiscent feeling. It was very nostalgic. It was very... It felt like there was closure in his voice. Did you read anything into that, or am I just looking for drama?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think we're all looking at this through a different lens. I mean, had he said that exact same thing in the way he said it 10 years ago, would we read anything into it? Probably not. But
right. Given
where we are in the scenario, I think we're all, we're all kind of putting that sort of response under a microscope. It definitely seemed a little bit more somber, borderline, some sadness in the way he addressed the crowd and everything. But I don't know.
And maybe it just felt sad because of his sad